Alright, let's just jump into the next episode, because why not? Eventually, material for Fire Nation would be needed from that place, I imagine. Fair enough.
Water. And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone. But I believe Aang can save the world.
Zuko is the definition of weaponized paranoia. I'm pretty paranoid. Which shows that the earthbenders can use stuff like coal for bending, not just pure earth. Well, it would depend, because coal, earth, like, there must be a line where the mineral and the metals can and cannot be bent. I'm sure there's some sort of logic. The entire prison broke out. Not one person, but the whole place. That would be on the news. However, it's transmitted in their case. They have radio?
Those clouds look so soft, don't they? Like you could just jump down and you'd land in a big, soft, cottony heap.
Maybe you should give it a try.
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be soft. You'd go right through it. Second of all, it would be really cold. And third of all, you're up this high and there's not a lot of oxygen, so you would be struggling to breathe right now. And it would also be very cold. I'm a lot of fun, aren't I?
You're hilarious.
I'll try it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is humanity's last hope.
Turns out clouds are made of water.
Hey, what is that?
Clouds are water. She's a waterbender. But is there enough water? And is she a good enough waterbender?
It's like a scar. Listen. It's so quiet. There's no life anywhere.
Aang, are you okay?
That's what fire does.
Fire Nation! Those evil savages make me sick. They have no respect for...
Shh.
What? I'm not allowed to be angry?
Why would anyone do this? How could I let this happen?
Aang, you didn't let this happen. It has nothing to do with you.
Technically, you did let it happen. You might have prevented it had you not gone to the Earth place and played slide with your friend. But anyway.
Yes, it does. It's the Avatar's job to protect nature. But I don't know how to do my job.
That's why we're going to the North Pole. To find you a teacher.
Yeah, a waterbending teacher. But there's no one who could teach me how to be the Avatar. Monk Gyatso said that Avatar Roku would help me.
The Avatar before you? He died over 100 years ago. How are you supposed to talk to him?
I don't know.
Uncle, it's time to leave. Where are you? Uncle Iroh!
Over here.
Uncle?
My god, this guy's chilling as
We need to move on. We're closing in on the Avatar's trail, and I don't want to lose him.
You look tired, Prince Zuko. Why don't you join me in these hot springs and soak away your troubles?
This is not the time for your Ghost of Tsushima female fan service, write some haiku crap.
My troubles cannot be soaked away. It's time to go!
You should take your teacher's advice and relax a little. The temperature's just right. I heated it myself.
See, firebending is very useful.
No, we need to leave now. Get out of the water.
Very well.
On second thought, why don't you take another few minutes? But be back at the ship in half an hour, or I'm leaving without you.
Thermal expansion.
Hey, Aang, are you ready to be cheered up?
No. Ow!
Acorn?
Hey, how is that cheering me up?
Cheered me up. Ow! Yeah, I probably deserve that.
Simp.
These acorns are everywhere, Aang. That means the forest will grow back. Every one of these will be a tall oak tree someday. And
In about 100 years.
all the birds and animals that lived here will come back.
In about 100 years.
Thanks, Katara.
Hey, who are you?
When I saw the flying bison, I thought it was impossible. But those markings, are you the Avatar, child? My village desperately needs your help.
Oh no, the old man, well, the last old man you trusted was a snitch.
This young person is the Avatar.
So the rumors of your return are true. It is the greatest honor of a lifetime to be in your presence.
Nice to meet you, too. So, is there something I can help you with?
I'm not sure.
Our village is in crisis. He's our only hope. For the last few days at sunset, a spirit monster comes and attacks our village. He is Heibai, the black and white spirit.
Well, that's racist as
Why is it attacking you?
We do not know. But each of the last 3 nights, he has abducted one of our own. We are especially fearful because the winter solstice draws near.
What happens then?
As the solstice approaches, the natural world and the spirit world will grow closer and closer until the line between them is blurred completely.
Heibai is already causing devastation and destruction. Once the solstice is here, there is no telling what will happen.
So, what do you want me to do exactly?
Who better to resolve a crisis between our world and the spirit world than the Avatar himself? You are the great bridge between man and spirits.
Right, that's me.
Hey, great bridge guy. Can I talk to you over here for a second? Aang, you seem a little unsure about all this.
Yeah, that might be because I don't know anything at all about the spirit world. It's not like there's someone to teach me this stuff.
So, can you help these people?
I have to try, don't I? Maybe whatever I have to do will just come to me.
I'm sorry, Avatar, but you are not a mildly attractive girl on Twitch. Money will not just come to you.
I think you can do it, Aang.
Yeah. We're all gonna get eaten by a spirit monster.
Sometimes it's a legendary sword the old man pulls out. Sometimes it's a poorly painted handle. I'm going to stop reading the comments.
Who's there? A meadow ball. I should have known. You startled me, little one. Seems I've dozed off and missed my nephew's deadline, but it was a very sweet nap.
Well, we have some earthbenders.
He's a Fire Nation soldier.
He's no ordinary soldier. This is the Fire Lord's brother, the Dragon of the West, the once great General Iroh. But now, he's our prisoner.
Hello? Spirit, can you hear me?
Okay, now that we're talking about spirits. I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was asking me if I've ever seen a ghost, which I have. And you know my stories about how I felt my grandmother when she passed away, my grandfather when he passed away, and my other grandmother when she passed away. And when Hutchon took me to a seaside town where there's a lighthouse, I was walking around and I felt that it was very silent. And so I said, Hutchon, where is this place? Why is it so silent? It's unusually silent. And she's like, what do you mean? And I basically told her the story. And I'll give you a quick synopsis. So synopsis was we were having late lunch with my grandfather in Bosnia. Now, at the time, in order to go from Bosnia back to Serbia, you would have to take a car to the local bus terminal and then take the bus all the way back to Serbia. But, you know, Bosnia, reception, the 90s, the only person that had a telephone around my grandfather's house was 3 houses down, and the only other place to get a telephone would be the bus terminal, and the only other one would be in Serbia. Anyway, we're spending and having lunch with my grandfather. We see him, all good in the hood. Me and my mother get in the car, someone's driving the car, and we're on the way to the bus terminal, which is about like 2 hours away. Halfway to the bus terminal, I start crying as a child. I was about 5.5 years old. And I'm bawling my eyes out. And my mother's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I tell her, grandfather died. And she's like, that's ridiculous. We just saw him. We just had lunch with him. But just to be sure, she ended up calling the house 3 houses away from my grandfather's house when we got at the bus terminal. And the person that picked up the telephone was like, wow, thank God you called. Look, you're not going to believe this. And my mother found out that her father died. My grandfather died. That was the first time. The second time was when I was with my mother in a house here in Australia, and my grandmother was very depressed. She stopped eating, she didn't really want to live, and it was all kind of going downhill from there. Her health was declining. So my father went back to Serbia. He was there for about a week. She started eating again. She was beginning to recover. She was getting stronger. She had more energy, you know, all signs of recovery. And basically we would, you know, talking to my father every like 2 days or so. And everything was looking good. And we basically spoke with my father earlier that evening. And he was like, yeah, she's good. She's recovering. Her spirits are really high. Everything's looking good. Late that evening, around 9 or 10 o'clock, I was crying. Again, my mother comes, she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, grandmother died. And she's like, there's no way you could know that. And then I explained to her, you know, my memory of when I was crying as a child when my grandfather died. And she just looked at me like, how do you remember that? Anyway, a few minutes after that, my father calls. Apparently my grandmother died like 5-10 minutes before that. Third time. I was in the apartment. My mother was basically sitting on one of the chairs. All the windows were closed, and I was just walking from the kitchen to the living room, and I felt like something just go right through me. And I knew in that moment the lady from next to our house in Serbia that basically raised me, and I called her my grandmother, died. And I told my mother, she's dead. And my mother didn't believe it. I'm like, I was right the last 2 times. And so she basically called. She calls. One of her grandsons picks up and says, yeah, she just passed away. And I'm not talking like within the same day. I'm talking like minutes. And I've also seen the ghost of my grandfather. At that house, when I was, the first house that I mentioned, the one where I was crying with my grandfather, I couldn't get to sleep. I would always sleep with the lights on, night terrors, all that sort of thing, and I couldn't get to sleep. So I was just sort of sitting there in bed, and then there was a blackout. And because of the blackout, all the lights went off. And of course, I couldn't sleep. I was awake. I just couldn't, you know, like I just couldn't get to sleep. I was just like sitting there really scared. I shit you not. The door was open, and I saw the ghost of my grandfather. You know, the grandfather, the first one whose death that I felt. And he was standing in the doorway to the room, and he just basically waved at me. And I sort of like waved back, and then bam, I fell asleep. Just like, woke up the next day and it was like, what the fuck? Not even joking. And so anyway, I explained that to Haru. And she was just like, if you told me this, I never would have taken you here. And I'm like, why? And she's like, this is a suicide spot. And I'm like, then why is it so calm? And she's like, come with me. And she took me to this payphone. And on the payphone, you know how you have like the old school payphone? There's like a little wood thing. on the little wood thing, people leave coins. Like there's this stack of coins. So anyone that's coming to commit suicide can just grab the coins and call someone. And my initial thought was, why would you leave coins there so that someone could call? Wouldn't you think someone thinking of committing suicide would maybe not commit suicide because they have unfinished business? And then it hit me. People that have unfinished business, their spirits are tied to this place. They don't leave. Whereas people that can call, they have closure, and when they pass, they can actually pass on. So the Japanese have been dealing with spirits for so long, they're not even trying to stop people from committing suicide. They're just trying to stop them from, staying tied to an area. They're at that level with dealing with spirits. And I was just like, and it blew my mind. I was talking with my friend from India about it. The ghost of his grandmother actually, I wouldn't say haunts, but is still in a big house that she built. She was basically working her butt off, and she was really good. And she basically made a lot of money for his family and ended up building this really big house. But when she passed away, apparently no one can live in that house because 1, they can hear her. 2, they can occasionally smell her. And 3, people also say they can hear her. And the house is completely empty. And apparently the grandfather as well, his spirit is at the house because he loved her so much. And we just had this whole discussion. While we're talking about spirits, I just wanted to bring that up. And I was just like, yeah. It's funny how different cultures and nations view ghosts and spirits. Yeah. You're an Esper, Kuma. An Esper who can sense death. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Our family cat went missing once. Didn't show up when night approached, so we could take it and keep it inside. A week passed without cat being at the house. However, me and my mum both dreamed of the cat. I dreamed that the cat licked me while I was laying, while my mum dreamt that the cat came for pets. Oh, the cat never came home. Not in physical form anyway. I love animals. I love animals. Though I usually know information way before I should have had the ability to learn that information. What's this, Hawks? I'm going to scroll up. What were you saying? Sensing ghosts is nice and all. I would like to control electricity though. Ghosts are earthbound spirits. Yes, their regrets are the tether that keeps them from passing forward to the light. Kuma, that could be hallucinations of you. Kuma, that could be hallucinations of you. I mean, like, I can believe that it is possible to hallucinate seeing someone if you're sleep deprived. Mind you, like, I slept the day before, so I don't think hallucinations kick in under 24 hours, but okay. But the thing about feeling the death of people, I also felt the death of my father. But with him, it was like an hourglass. I could actually sense how much time he had left. But that's a completely different story, because he was dying of terminal cancer. But I basically felt how much time he had left. And so when I walked in the room, I knew he had under a minute left. And in that time, I simply just walked up to him. I put my hand on his jugular so I could feel his pulse. And I basically told him, you can go now. And then I felt his pulse weaken and eventually go. And then I basically told everyone in the room, he's dead. They didn't believe me. They called the nurse. I'm like, yeah, he's dead. But I could actually feel how much time he had left. So when my uncle called me that afternoon, I could actually feel how much time he had. Like, I knew this day would be when he would die. I could feel it. It was like an hourglass. I could feel that there was just a little bit of time left. And then he basically called it. It's like, it's your father. I'm like, it's almost time. And he's like, yeah, you should probably get over here. I'm like, it's fine. He's got about 2-3 hours left. So I took my time because I didn't really like him. So, like, but from what I see, I can typically only feel those that I'm close to, though the suicide spot was a different feeling. It wasn't like I could feel the individual people. It was that I couldn't feel anything. That's why it felt odd. You know, it was just empty. I can't describe it, but it was just like empty, like a void. And I don't mean like I couldn't hear sounds or nothing. There was water. I could hear the water. I could hear cars. I could obviously hear Hutchin walking around, like all that stuff. But in terms of feeling, it was like a void. There was nothing there. I wonder if you have reached that closeness with any of us in your community. That level? I don't believe so. There is a ghost in my house I see every few months or so. We had Cheeky barking at like the corner of our bedroom because the old man that owned this place, he passed away here. And this is his house. He basically helped build it when he was in Australia like 60, 70 years ago. Anyway, so like Hutchin didn't like the house because she kind of felt uneasy. Cheeky was like barking in the corner of the room, like in the ceiling. And my uncle was like, do you want to get a priest or something to like bless the house? And I'm like to my uncle, look, I'm not stuck with the ghost. The ghost is stuck here with me. And I remember one night, like Cheeky would just kept barking. And I'm like, Cheeky, shut up in Serbian. And she wouldn't stop. And I just basically looked in the corner and I was like, look, you either leave or I'm burning this house to the ground. And then Cheeky just stopped barking. I do not negotiate with terrorists. It's not usually accurate either, but just because I usually dream multiple times of the same scene, so I f*** around in my dreams. I usually forget the first time and getting deja vu later. Well, I had so many night terrors in my time. And fortunately enough, you know, I had that reoccurring night terror where I would be sleeping, I would wake up, I would go to the wardrobe, and as soon as I go to grab a shirt, hand grabs me, and this thing's just pulling me in. And that was the only reoccurring night terror that I had. And so I would try to pull this thing out and pull it towards the living room and screaming for help. And as you can imagine, when I was like 7, I was too small. I couldn't pull it at all. And slowly as I grew up, I could pull it more and more towards the living room. And mind you, when I say reoccurring, I mean this dream would happen at least once a week. Anyway, so eventually when I was in high school, I was like 12, 13 at the time, maybe 14. I had enough sort of strength in this nightmare to pull this thing to the living room. When I pulled it to the living room, my mother's just like shocked. Oh my God, help him. And my father was just sitting there, just didn't do anything. So the next time I had this nightmare, instead of pulling, I just grabbed this thing by the throat and choked it to death. Like I looked into its lifeless eyes while I choked it to death. And so in my nightmares, I stopped running away. And so I would never run away. So my instinct now is to never run. It's pure fight. And it's kind of animalistic, but it's there. And I don't really have nightmares anymore at all. But what I found really interesting, I stayed at Hutchin's house for the first time. And it's a 2-story house, very traditional home. And I was staying in the guest bedroom, and there's like this long hallway, and then there is a bathroom, and then there's slightly longer hallway from the bathroom that carries on. And everyone was sleeping upstairs. I was the only one sleeping downstairs. Now, the way that I walk around is like a ghost. I don't make any noise walking. Like, I don't shift my weight around a lot. You know, it's always 50-50. And part of the boards in that hallway toward one corner near the bathroom creak a little bit. You know, the house is like 30, 40 years old, so one of the boards is a little bit loose, so it creaks. And so I instinctively know not to go on the creaking board. So I wake up in the middle of the night, I walk to the bathroom, you know, I don't make a lot of noise, and when I finish up with the bathroom, I come out. There's basically this lady standing in the hallway in all white, and she's basically got one of those face masks on. Now, if any of you know of this urban legend in Japan, it's basically you're walking down a street, and then there's this lady with this, you know, surgical mask on. And, you know, a lot of people in Japan wear it when they're sick or when they're not wearing makeup, and a lot of people around the world were wearing it because of COVID. Anyway, it's the lady that asks you, am I pretty? And then if you say yes, she obviously takes off the mask to reveal a giant slit across her face. And then she asks you, am I pretty? If you answer yes, she'll just basically slit you across the face the way she is. And, well, if you say no, she'll basically cut you in half. Now, you remember that I don't run in my nightmares. And funnily enough, in my nightmares, they are the only dreams where I realize that I am dreaming. And so I had this dream, and it was like the first time ever. And mind you, I'd read Japanese folklore in high school, so I was very familiar with a lot of these urban legends, but I never had a nightmare about one. And so this is happening in Hutchins' house years after I ever read about it. You know, I wasn't even thinking about it or anything. And I just remember her asking me that. And then I just sort of thought, this is a dream. But my first thought was, you're speaking English. Like, how do I understand you? And then I looked around, this is a dream. And then I looked back at her. And then I saw fear in her eyes. And so, as you can imagine, I grabbed her head and I put it through the wall and I just dragged it across the entire hallway. And I had a little bit of fun. Thus, my dreams. But I was like, why did this happen in Japan? Funnily enough, the next day, Hutchin takes me to a suicide spot. But anyways, them Japanese spirits be weird, man. And then I was starting to think for a minute, maybe these urban stories aren't about, you know, literal people being killed by these people, but nightmares that people are having as a result of, you know, a spirit or something in the country of a very traumatized person. Like, for example, you know, let's take that, the ring, right? The little girl that's thrown down the well. If I was a person and that was done to me, think of the sheer fear, terror, anger that would happen, right? And if unfinished business is what ties a spirit to the world, someone like that would be a very upset, vengeful spirit, wouldn't they? You know, think about it. I'm using this as an example. But what's to stop them from, I don't know, reaching people via dreams? Like, do you remember all of your dreams? I don't remember all of my dreams. Could ghosts be real? I believe spirits are real. Not in the sense that, you know, like how mainstream media portrays them to be. But I believe there is a spiritual element to existence. I do know that what we can see is limited to a certain sort of, you know, we can see between one set of frequencies to another, and we can only hear from one set of frequencies to another. Animals can see and hear a broader frequency than we can, so they are able to hear and see things that we cannot. So a spectrum, thank you. So I believe there is a certain spiritual element to existence that we may not be able to perceive. I do believe that that is a very strong possibility. So I'm not just about to, you know, write it off, but I find this very interesting. And I'm actually curious. My friend of mine basically said, well, you know, he's from India, and he's like, you know, he heard this from me, and he's like, well, if we went to India and I took you to, you know, a few places that are known for being very spiritually active, do you think you might feel or see something? And I'm like, let's put it this way. Don't tell me if you take me to one of these areas. Let me suss it out. You know what I mean? Like, don't like take me to a place or something and then I suss it out, but just like randomly slip it in there while we're having fun or something out of the blue and see if something happens. You know, keep it as organic as possible. But I'd be very curious to see what happens in other countries. Huh. Talking about spirits, eh? Kuma, there are so many places like that here, you would be surprised. I occasionally dream things that happen later, years later, like exactly, nothing important, but just random events in my own life. I don't know why, but it's happened 2 or 3 times throughout my life. Here's the thing, right? We perceive our existence, and there is a universal frequency. And if anything deviates from this frequency, the universe itself tries to counteract it to return back to the baseline. Now, let me ask you this. We perceive events to be linear. We perceive time to be linear. We perceive what's happening to be either this or that. But what if it's not so simple? What if there are multiple outcomes, multiple occurrences, you know, sort of like layered one on top of the other? And we are just one series of events. We are one timeline where something happens, but there are so many other possibilities. And what if it doesn't just go in one direction? What if it isn't just 3-dimensional? What if it's 4-dimensional? What if time itself isn't just going in one direction and it's linear? What if what you're actually seeing is an experience that a version of you would have had? Wardlines like Steingate. I've only seen one season of the anime, and that was a while ago, so I don't remember everything, but let's not go too deep into it just in case. But these type of conversations really sort of, you know, they pique my interest. They pique my interest. They pique my interest. The weird thing is that I've experienced some weird stuff, but many things, when being educated about human psychology, is a mental thing that can manifest in a worldview of a person who suffers from conditions and other people suffer from it too. Look, I know I'm crazy, right? The best people are crazy. Normal people are boring. These events are things I did eventually experience. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Avatar. Let's go back to Avatar. I just wanted to share that while we were talking about spirits. Just while we were talking about spirits. You know, there is a diagram in quantum that, well, you know, work with the space-time continuum. It's a space-time plane, no space-time line. Ghost put forward some interesting questions. The fact that someone's personality can be severely affected by chemical imbalances is enough to me to not believe that a ghost of a person would be the same person. Interesting. 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 This is the type of conversations I like to have at 3 a.m. with a drink in my hand. These are the type of conversations I like to have like that. But look, Avatar's gonna fight some spirit that's pissed off about something.
Hello? Spirit, can you hear me? This is the Avatar speaking. I'm here to try to help stuff.
Try give it 350.
This isn't right. We can't sit here and cower while Aang waits for some monster to show up.
If anyone can save us, he can.
He still shouldn't have to face this alone.
Am I the only one that will grab some salt and an iron bar and try to whack the spirit over the head?
The sun is set. Where are you, Hey Bye? Well, Spirit, I hereby ask you to please leave this village in peace.
Really?
Okay. Well, I guess that's settled then.
Now, seriously, I believe you, Kuma. I've experienced really weird things too. It's just that that person will paint things that are explainable as supernatural. It probably exists, but not as stories are true that people tell. Well, a story is simply a recollection of the last time you remembered something. And as we know, people's memories are not very accurate. And they're also biased. Which is why I don't take every individual story as 100% fact. But in the context of it happening more than once, I'm kind of like, look, I'm not saying it is something, but I think it could be something. I'm just saying. Make that a battle hammer with the head of the solidified salt rock and iron handle. Yes. What the fuck is this? Is that a hollow? Wait, are you guiding it or is it chasing you? Yeah, that's a hollow.
You must be the Hey Bye Spirit. My name is... My name is Aang. I'm the Avatar and I would like to help. Hey, wait up!
Hey, don't leave your stick. Am I the only one that feels that we're watching Spirited Away?
The Avatar's methods are unusual.
It doesn't seem too interested in what he's saying. Maybe we should go help him.
No.
Maybe try speaking Japanese.
No, only the Avatar stands a chance against the Hey Bye.
Aang will figure out the right thing to do, Sokka.
have a spirit bridge. Excuse me. Would you please turn around? I command you to turn around now!
Oof! He ain't having any of
That's
shit.
it. He needs help.
Sokka, wait!
It's not safe.
Hey, bye! Over here!
You just hit him in the ass.
Sokka, go back!
We'll fight him together, Aang.
I don't want to fight him unless I...
Well, he's gone.
Sokka!
Uncle! Uncle, where are you?
Sir, maybe he thought you left without him.
Something's not right here. That pile of rocks.
It looks like there's been a landslide, sir.
Land doesn't slide uphill. Those rocks didn't move naturally.
You know, this kid is actually pretty witty. I like him.
My uncle's been captured by earthbenders.
Hey! Over here!
Oh! You pissed off the forest spirit.
Help! Hang on, Sokka!
Well, GG, he's in the spirit realm now. There are many times where I will dream about something the day after I sleep, or weeks afterwards, because I was at work and when I heard my manager say a certain line, my body froze as the moment and line was familiar to what I heard in my dream weeks prior. Is that a glitch in the Matrix? Yep, you pissed off a forest spirit. Is that a bear spirit? You pissed off a bear spirit.
Sokka!
You better bring honey.
I failed.
Yep, that's a forest spirit. Land doesn't slide upwards is again common sense. You don't need wit for that. Do you think these soldiers had an education? No, really. Do you think most of these soldiers had an education? Are these chocobos? Holy fuck, they're riding chocobos. Why is he naked? And bound? Look, this is some kinky shit going on here.
Where are you taking me?
We're taking you to face justice.
Right. But where specifically?
A place you're quite familiar with, actually. You once laid siege to it for 600 days.
600 days? That's 1.8 to 9 years. Wow, you guys had a lot of food.
But it would not yield to you.
Ah, the great city of Ba Sing Se.
It was greater than you were, apparently.
I acknowledge my defeat at Ba Sing Se. After 600 days away from home, my men were tired, and I was tired. And I'm still tired.
Why didn't you pull a Tywin Lannister and take a local river and redirect it into the city? Or, you know, poison the water supply. What? Clever boy. Kuma, I noticed something interesting with people who had experience with supernatural. That the supernatural is always the version of supernatural they had experience with, such as religion, myth, culture they grow up with or read about. Well, that's what I found interesting about that slit girl in Japan. That only happened in Japan. And I had a few other instances of spiritual stuff, but let's not talk about that now. So, like hallucinations without drugs. Well, I mean, drugs just mess with your perception. You interpret things as something as they're not. This was literally seeing something that shouldn't be there. And yes, without drugs.
I'm sure they'll be back.
I know.
you should get some rest.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Your brother is in good hands. I would be shocked if the
Uh-oh.
Avatar returned without him.
Katara? Katara, I lost him.
The sun is rising. Perhaps he will return soon.
He is also in the spirit world now.
What? No, I'm right here. I'm in the spirit world.
Perhaps supernatural things are affected by what we interpret. We can only make sense of it by referencing things we already have knowledge of. Well, depends on the spirit, I would say. If the spirit was trying to make you afraid and it was able to see what you know, it would pick something that you're afraid of. Which, in my case, doesn't actually work because I just become hyper-aggressive. Like an animal. But anyways. I mean, in my case, the best chance you have is being an attractive female. In which case, my chances of hurting you are close to 0.
Yeah, that's Uncle Iroh.
I'll figure this out, Katara. I promise. Like they said, I'm the bridge between the worlds, right? All I have to do is figure out what I have to do. But once I do that, no problem. Appa, hey buddy, I'm right here. But I guess you can't see me either.
It's okay, Appa. Don't worry. I'm sure they're on their way back. I bet they even found you a bunch of moon peaches for a treat.
Aw, Appa's so cool. I like Appa.
What
Appa's
am I
just...
supposed to do?
Appa is just a gentle giant. He's so chill. He's massive and could probably be the apex predator of the planet, but he's chill.
Avatar Roku, how can I talk to you? Sokka?
Itachi?
That's definitely not Sokka.
That's a dragon.
Ugh.
Lol. You're in the spirit world.
What? I can't airbend in the spirit world.
Okay, but why does that drag... Anyways. Alright.
You don't know where Sokka is, do you?
Okay, kid. Be respectful to the dragon. Like, really respectful. Oh, that's his dragon.
You're Avatar Roku's animal guide. Like Appa is to me. I need to save my friends and I don't know how.
Wait, I thought Appa was your mount, not your animal guide. I thought your animal guide was the little guy with the big ears. Or am I misunderstanding something? Fun fact, my patron saint is St. George, who is depicted as slaying a dragon. But that is not where he was sainted. He was sainted after he was one of, I believe, Caesar's guards. And then Caesar was like, I'm going to start crucifying all Christians. And his guard was like, well, I'm not denouncing Christianity. And then Caesar's like, no, bro, seriously, you don't have to actually denounce Christianity. You just got to publicly say you denounce Christianity and I don't have to crucify you. And St. George was like, nope, I'm not denouncing Christianity. And then Caesar's like, bro, you could do whatever you want in public. Like, I don't give a shit. Just pretend you're denouncing Christianity. And the guy's like, nope. And so they crucified him. And he was sainted. And I'm like, bruh, this guy has a will of iron. I respect that.
Is there some way for me to talk to Roku? I'll be back, Katara. Take me to Roku.
To be a saint, don't you have to die first and then do something in death? No. People can be sainted without doing something. Though a lot of saints are actually have to perform a miracle and then die, and then they're sainted. But this guy was like, no, and he gets sainted anyway. Wait, why can the general see the dragon?
What's the problem?
Why can this general see the dragon?
Nothing.
Why can the general see the dragon?
Actually, there is a bit of a problem.
Why can the general see the fucking dragon?
My old joints...
Wait, I'm looking at his facial hair. Oh my god, he's the old Avatar, isn't he? Is he? I don't know, I'm just looking at his facial hair.
Feeling sore and achy, and these shackles are too loose.
Too loose?
That's right. The cuffs are loose, and they jangle around and bump my wrists. It would help me if you would tighten them, so they wouldn't shake around so much.
Very well. Corporal, tighten the prisoner's handcuffs.
Hey, what are you doing? No!
Buddha, is that you?
I don't understand. This is just a statue of Roku.
Paime?
Is that what Roku wants to talk to me about? A comet? When can I talk to him?
Oh. Really? Like a day?
It's a calendar, and the light will reach Roku on the solstice.
Oh.
So will I be able to speak to Roku?
Oh, shit. The spirit world and the physical world are like blurred and shit. Okay, gotcha. Good work, smart dragon. Now about the pissed off bear spirit terrorizing the town.
But I can't wait that long. I need to save Sokka now.
Fucking impatient little shit. You know, this guy's actually smart. What is his name? The old man? Roku is long since dead. Gotcha. But the old man. What's the old man's name? Iroh. Okay, Iroh. Guys, never underestimate an old man in a profession where people die young. Seriously.
He is too dangerous, Captain. We can't just carry him to the capital. We have to do something now.
I agree. He must be dealt with immediately and severely.
It's no use, Appa. I don't see them anywhere. Our best hope is to go back to the village and wait.
You said the same thing in Overlord Season 3? Yes, because it's true.
The Avatar.
Oh, you're chasing your uncle.
Whoa.
Wait, your body's chilling now? Hey, don't respect the bear statue.
You're back! Where's Sokka?
I'm not sure.
These dangerous hands must be crushed.
Excellent form, Prince Zuko.
You taught me well.
Surrender yourselves. It's 5 against 2. You're clearly outnumbered.
That's true. But you are clearly outmatched.
Damn, old man can fight. Now kill them.
Now would you please put on some clothes?
Fucking perverted old man just running around naked in whips and chains and ropes and shit. He's like, what? I haven't had this much fun in 3 weeks. Did it just make itself smaller? See, it's a panda.
You are the spirit of this forest. Now I understand. You're upset and angry because your home was burned down.
No shit.
When I saw the forest had burned, I was sad and upset. But my friend gave me hope that the forest would grow back.
Aww.
Sokka!
What happened?
You were trapped in the spirit world for 24 hours. How are you feeling?
Like I seriously need to use the bathroom.
Thank you, Avatar. If only there were a way to repay you for what you've done.
You could give us some supplies and some money.
Oh.
Sokka?
What? We need stuff.
It would be an honor to help you prepare for your journey.
I'm so proud of you, Aang. You figured out what to do all on your own.
Actually, I did have a little help. And there's something else.
What is it?
I need to talk to Roku. And I think I found a way to contact his spirit.
That's great!
Creepy, but great.
There's a temple on a crescent-shaped island. And if I go there on the solstice, I'll be able to speak with him.
But the solstice is tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's one more problem. The island is in the Fire Nation.
Well, shit. Well, you have a flying bison, right? You have a flying bison, right? Right? Okay. Can we take a little break before the next episode? This goddamn song. It's so catchy! Why is this song so fucking catchy? God damn it! This is some catchy shit. God damn it. It's so simple, yet so catchy. They did really well with this show. I'm going to play Modern Crusaders, but they did really well with this show. Really well. Alright, I'm playing the song.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun size, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.